Lil Nas X calls out BT and the black community for homophobia. Let's talk about this. Okay, so Lil Nas X tweeted, I believe this was like June 1st. He tweeted, "Thank you, BET Awards, and outstanding 0 nominations again. Black excellence." Obviously, he was being sarcastic because BET did not nominate him this year for the BET Awards. And it's kind of crazy because Jack Harlow had an album that came out in the fall. Jack Harlow was probably the biggest artist in 2021. I mean, he got so many nominations, I think about 5 nominations at the Grammys, which is the most prestigious music award. He's gotten so much attention, but it's like BT seems to be ignoring him. Now, BT did respond. Well, okay, Lil Nas X then made a diss track coming for BT. Let me play the clip. He comes for BT with this diss track, which is kind of funny. Let me play a little bit of it.
Fuck BT. Fuck BT. Fuck BT. Yeah. Fuck BT. Yeah.
Well, this is slow. I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, so basically he comes out, coming for BT. Let's play that again. Let's see if it's slow.
Yeah. Fuck BT.
Yeah, I mean, it's slow. But you get it. He basically goes after BET, FBET, and whatever. Yikes. And so BET does respond. Let me see if I can find their response. But they basically were, saying basically that, the BET Awards is not selected, or the nominees are not selected by BET employees, that there are people in the industry that are working in the industry, so on and so forth. Everyone from musicians to digital marketers to influencers to different people, a curated list, kind of like the Academy when it comes to the Grammys and the Oscars. So they were trying to, like, in a way, gaslight him in his view, because he then responded and said, and if I can find this thing that he said, something about like, we know it's about homophobia in the black community. Damn, my computer is slow. This not over no BT award. This about the bigger problem of homophobia in the black community. Y'all can sit and pretend all you want, but I'ma risk it all for us. So what really happened was, at the BET Awards last year, Lil Nas X did this performance where he makes out with I think he made out with both men, right? So I think he made out with both men at the award show, and this is BET. Like, okay, there's so much to unpack. I feel like my screen is freezing a little bit, so I mean, just listen to my audio if you can't see it. There's so much to unpack here, right? Yes, there's homophobia in the black community. Yes, there's a double standard. And let's remember, Lil Nas X has been nominated. I think he might have even won BET Awards in the past. He's even performed there. So they were sort of like, they were giving him all the much needed praise that he deserved. But I think somewhere about last year is when he started, being oversexualized, when he came out with Industry Baby, when he did all this stuff. And I think the making out on stage, and it's like the black community is against him. Now, BET made a great point that they are not the ones that are selecting the nominees. It's the black people that are industry professionals that are doing it. And that just speaks to the fact that a lot of the black community is homophobic, as Lil Nas X has stated. Oh, what's going on here? Uh-oh. Something going on here? I do not know what's happening. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like my video is like not the best, but anyway, point is, the black community is just kind of like not for homophobia, not for gay rights and all that stuff. And we know this is a greater issue within the black community. This is not just about the music industry attacking him. If any industry is going to be supporting, liberal ideals, it's going to be the creative arts industry. So this issue is not an issue of BET. This is a greater issue around the Black community. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way Lil Nas X is displaying sexuality as a Black man. And so I made a video about the oversexualization of Black femininity and how that is a problem. And I talked about Black women as well as Lil Nas X, because a lot of his content, he's oversexualizing his femininity. And yes, Black people, there's one part of it where Black people are religious with the Black churches and, Black ideals and stuff like that. And there's some areas of that is like, where it's almost like Black people uphold white supremacy and the structures of white supremacy even more than white people. Like these ideas of like patriarchy and these ideas of like suppressing women. You see like all these male podcasts and the way they talk down to women. It's like they're trying to mimic this structure of patriarchy, which was really designed by white supremacy. And then that's also extended to homosexuality, because when you look at the history, it was, the UK that, came after homosexuality and actually put it in the, scriptures in the Bible and exported homophobia around the world to all its colonies. Go look at that. Vice made a really interesting documentary about that. But when it comes to the Black community, not just in America, but globally, this homophobia has deep roots in white supremacy. And so the greater issue is not necessarily that Lil Nas X, I feel like he's looking at it from the surface. He's looking at it from like, oh, you guys are not accepting me and my art because I'm gay and I'm Black, when it's like, it's deeper than that. And I feel like if he really wanted to change the narrative, if he really wanted to get people to support homophobia, it's not by over-sexualizing his femininity the way that he's doing it, because the way that he's doing it is almost perpetuating the problem, right? Because like the way I look at it is like inequality is inequality, and the way Black women have Black femininity has been pushed and over-sexualized for a patriarchal structure is the way Black gayness, specifically Black gay men that access that femininity are also playing into that same stereotype. And I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine talking about how a lot of gays are overly sexual. A lot of gay men are very overly sexual. And this is not all, obviously there are so many, but he's gay and he's conservative. He comes from a Muslim background, and he just felt as though that is a poor representation of gayness, because gayness is not about your being over-sexualized, because people always love to reduce your sexuality, or whenever you say that you're, gay or straight or whatever, the first thing that they think about with gay people is the way that they have sex. And it's like, why are you reducing to my sexual orientation to my sexuality? Why are you minimizing it? And I think in a way Lil Nas X perpetuates that. So I understand where he's coming from, where there's an issue with over-sexualization, or there's an issue with homophobia, but I don't think he's doing any service to gay rights and gayness with the way that he's portraying his sexuality, because it's like he's trying to feed into a system that's flawed and mimic it for gayness, right? So this system of over-sexualizing Black women on television, he's doing that with gay Black men. And if we look at slavery, the way that white men sexualized and used Black women as objects is the way they also did with Black men, with buck breaking and all these things. And buck breaking is one of the main issues why Black people, especially Black men, are seriously against homosexuality, because when you look at buck breaking was when a slave master would punish a slave for either running away or doing whatever, and he would rape him, right? And so that kind of put a stigma around homosexuality in the Black community, which fed it in so many ways. But I think my point is, I understand where Lil Nas X is coming from, and I think it's important, representation for the LGBTQIA community is important. But I think that the way that he's going about it, he should not expect to be pedestalized or praised when he's abusing his sexuality in a way. He's not representing the truth of gayness is, but the superficiality of it, and almost like, yeah, a very superficial aspect of it. And I want to extend that to the portrayal of have that same energy for, all the over-sexualized Black females in BET, which they don't, which is ironic, but I think definitely have that same energy for the Cardi B's and the, what's her name? Chloe Bailey's that are over-sexualized. Have that same energy for them, if you really want to bring like homosexuality and say it's against, Christianity and the religion, well then have the same energy for the baby mamas and the women that are like over-sexualized. For sure, I get that. And I think in a way it's like he's the scapegoat. He's the easy person to attack for that, when I think they should look at the greater issue. Don't just come for Lil Nas X, come for everybody if you're really going to come for them. And I get it, it's his art and he has the freedom to do what he wants with his art, but I just mean for him, it's like, don't expect to be pedestalized, when what you do is against that society's moral code of conduct. Like, it's one thing to be gay and want people to accept your gayness. That's one thing, and that's a very important thing to push, especially this is Pride Month. I think that's a very important thing to push, to accept the gayness. But when you push that gayness into an area where you're over-sexualizing your femininity, and you enter the areas of, all these over-sexualized Black females, which like that content, we need less of that on BET anyway. Don't expect everybody to open their arms to you. But the real problem when it comes to that, I see it's because Black men love to see Black women, so they will be hypocritical and they will elevate the Black, two women kissing and all the disgusting things that all these like musicians do on these award shows. These Black females, Black femininity, what they do on these award shows, they would elevate that. But when it comes to a man doing it, there's a double standard. And I think have that same energy. But when it comes to Lil Nas X, yes, I get where he's coming from. I think it's kind of messed up, but this does not represent BET. This represents the Black community, so go after, if anything, I think what you should work to do, instead of the shock factor of getting attention, I mean, he's young and I get it. It's his art. Have the freedom of expression with your art, but also take the time out to actually educate people about LGBTQIA plus issues, and actually educate people about why it's important, not just over, kissing and making out on stage and expecting that sort of awareness to like solve people's gay issues. No, because like even when Britney and what's her name, whatever, were kissing on stage, nobody wanted to see that. Even if there was a man and a woman kissing on stage, nobody wants to see that on TV. So it's like, don't use sexuality if you really want to be, I don't know how to put it, but like, it's not like don't think that you're going to be pedestalized if you over-sexualize yourself. And yes, there have been people that have been pedestalized, but I'm saying it's not even right that they are pedestalized in the first place. So I feel like Lil Nas X, yes, create your art and do whatever you do, but take the time out to actually build systems that supports the LGBTQIA community, globally or in America. That's where the work really matters. That's where the work counts. And you just complaining about your issues, I don't think it's really helpful. It's good that you shone a light on the issue, but I don't think it's really helpful. I don't really think it's going to help the LGBTQIA community in the long run. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Yes, I think it's kind of messed up, but this is not BET's fault. This is the Black community that did not vote for him, because this did happen after I was explaining how, Lil Nas X he's a big artist. There's no reason that he shouldn't be nominated, but it seems as though after he started over-sexualizing himself, this is when they started rejecting him. So when he was squeaky clean with Old Town Road and he was like, he's gay, people accepted that. BET even put him on stage. But when he started over-sexualizing it and being a troll about his sexuality, That's when he stopped getting the support from these people at BET that are voting. It's not BET, but it's the people, the artists that are voting behind the scenes. But anyway, I've made my points. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. My name is Kenim, and I'll see you next time. A peace. End stream.